Tell me this isn't funny though, right? Because as a former weed head, I used to tell myself, "Yo, I can't wait till they legalize it," because I've always believed that. But the way in which they legalizing it, it's become the new cigarette,
Yeah.
and they're profiting off of it like unbelievably.
Yep.
My question is, and I've had this conversation with some people, and they're like, "It was never going to be possible for it to happen." And I was like, "That's bullshit." I think anyone that had like any marijuana charges, that should be automatically deleted.
Never.
Like it never ever happened. I'll tell you why. You're profiting from it. Like a lot. You're getting your taxes. And another thing that's weird, I'm sure everyone's seen it. You go on your Instagram. Why are these kids holding bags of weed like or doing this? Like it's the new telephone. Have you guys seen any of that?
Yeah,
Or am I just
yeah.
following some? Am I following some shitty people? Or what's going on?
Nah,
Nah,
nah.
that's all over the place.
Why?
I don't
Because
fucking
they're
know. I
idiots.
couldn't tell
The
you.
generation.
I couldn't tell you.
The generation thinks it's cool to glorify shit that you trouble for, so they do it like the same. Like I've seen it on my social media that like friends of my kids that are like, yo, I got the facts from the low. It's fire, this and that, and I'm like, dude, you're advertising on social media. Like, what the hell?
Yes. Yes.
Like, what is going on here? You know what I
I'm
mean?
seeing
You
the
can't
grade. I'm
advertise
seeing the
from
quality.
online. They're like,
Crazy,
you
bro.
know what I mean? But it's funny to me because it's like then they get caught and they're like, oh, so and so snitched on me. No, you snitched on yourself. Like, come on,
Right.
man.
Yeah, it's all over there.
Yeah.
I was
You're
actually
helping these
just
attorneys.
I was actually just watching. It's a little off topic, but somewhat similar. I was watching a little documentary on YouTube last night about G Fredo and 7891 Cal from Boston, the rappers from Boston.
Yeah.
And I guess I don't know if they're in jail, but I know like it said something about like 31 members of their gang got hit up, got took up by the cops, by the feds on RICO charges because literally they were recreating their crime scenes, their shootings
In
And
their
the
in their
videos.
music videos and
their
in their
videos.
lyrics.
Yeah.
Like, like how fucking dumb are these kids? Like, shit's crazy.
you know what really makes me mad? Like, and I respect, you know what I mean, everybody, you know, that gets locked up for whatever reason, you know what I'm saying? But like I've had plenty of people that got locked up, right? And I know what they may or may not have done. But like,
Good way of
if
saying it.
you did some stupid fucking shit, bro, like I love you, but you're not gonna catch me talking about like free you, bro.
Ever.
Ever. I'm not
Me
gonna
neither.
do it.
I don't
Like,
do that
you're
shit.
my guy, but you are fucking stupid. You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Now, if it was some other shit, then yeah, fine. But that's something too that's been like crazy. It's like, yeah, my man's just lit up that whole street, just popped like 4 people in, like, a
And
little
then
bit,
free
but
you.
free him.
No.
You know what I mean? Get him out of there. Get him out
Thank you.
of there.
Thank you for saying that. Thank you for
He's
saying
a
that.
real shooter. Free him.
Yeah, right.
Thank you for saying that.
It's almost like they wear a badge of honor for bragging about the shit they're doing.
Right.
You know what I mean? But in society, it's our generation. Well, it's the younger generation that's allowing it because you get the kid that talks about shooting up that whole block. He gets 1 million views,
Yep.
but another from the hood could have saved a kid from a burning house. But because that's not what people won't like anymore, he gets no views.
Right.
Like
Right.
everybody's
Wow.
like, shit is in the wrong areas. Like,
It's these '90s kids, man.
How does it get corrected though? Does it get corrected? Can it be
yo,
corrected?
so listen, so that is
I
what
think
that
it can.
guy that I
It
was
can
telling
be.
you about earlier, the dude from Russia, it takes 15 years, bro. So we would have to literally start with this generation and have it trickle down to like 2 more.
Yeah.
You need to find. There would have to be a leader that goes back to teaching kids the way. I don't know if it's the right way or the way it should be done, but the way we feel it should be done. There would have to
I
be
disagree.
a leader.
Jay, it would have to start with social media and the news, because if you think about
Nah,
it,
not
right,
the news.
and
I
I'm-
think it's more of. I
Cliff.
think it's social media and music artists.
but it's news too, because think about it, and Cliff can probably relate to this. Yo, when back in the day, right, when you watched the news, you
Mhm.
saw like shit in there about people that pulled a cat down from a tree, or somebody helped out the business owner sweep his pot. You didn't hear about like 30 shootings and this and that. Like,
You kept in the dark.
talk about that.
Yeah.
But
But I-
what happened was when the news started getting more like crazy with it and bad things, the people liked it. They were like, oh wow, somebody else's life is miserable. That's awesome. Like, it's not as bad as mine.
Right.
And it trend that just started, that took off. And yeah, music people did it. You know what I'm saying? Like, and they followed suit. But that's what I'm saying. Like, so we got 30 years of progress towards the negativity. It's gonna take.
But that part, I think, is because too, right? The news had to keep up with ratings, which
Yeah,
sucks.
I was gonna say, like,
and the ratings was social media. They're like, wait, it's more popping in Facebook, right?
Yep.
Like, let's
Nobody
not forget.
watches the fucking news anymore.
And try to follow me on this real quick. So we caught and I forget the bomber, the guy for Boston Marathon.
Tsarnaev brothers.
Tsarnaev, yeah.
The brothers. So we caught him because of Facebook.
Right.
Yeah.
People were just gauging and say, we saw this, and putting that information via Facebook. The news couldn't even keep up because they didn't have those resources out in the streets. I think at that point in time, it was identified. I think they knew, but they really were like, oh shit, there's no way that we can keep up with social media because they're just reporters for us. And with that being said, I think people then said, you know what? I'd rather just get my information on one platform, either being MySpace back then, Facebook, now Instagram. So that's the part where the news can't really keep up. But I do agree with what Lima was saying as far as like, you didn't hear that. And it was really kind of suppressed. With that being said, I still think that social media should still be utilized the way it is, but you should hold people accountable for some of this stuff. I don't think you should be spewing like negative messages out there. I don't think that should be allowed. I think if you put in incorrect information, you should be charged. I think if you're recording someone doing like something illegal, you're part of that as well. Right. I think once you start handing down these type of crazy punishments, jailable punishment, not just finable, but jailable events, then you'll start seeing it and making people accountable. Telling these people's parents, these kids, like, hey, unfortunately, your son or your daughter is a murderer. So he or she needs to be placed in jail so they don't do that again, or to teach these other people out here that they shouldn't be doing that. Like, I don't condone violence. I get certain situations call for certain things. I do.
But the problem is like a lot. So with, I don't know if it was like our generation or the generation right before, probably our generation. So a lot of people from our generation are just as bad as fucking the kids nowadays. So like they're parents now and their kids are acting like fucking dickheads. And instead of being like, my kid's a dickhead, I'm going to discipline him, you're the fucking asshole for saying something about it.
I agree with that. But I don't know if it's your generation. I don't think it's 80s. I think it's the 90s. I think it's the 90s. Yeah. These fucking 90s kids are out of control.
It's right behind
like, let's talk about Zoom. Let's talk about Zoom. Like, if your kid wasn't fucking paying attention and your teacher calls you or sends you an email, don't blame the teacher. How about blaming your fucking kid?
Yep.
Yeah.
How about saying, hey, your kid is either a little slow, can't keep up, whatever the case may be, but don't blame it on the teacher. Stop looking for scapegoats.
Mm-hmm.
I love what Charles Barkley said decades ago. But he got shitted on for this. And I think Ty, even that he got shitted on, but I loved it. He said, I am not a role model. Like, he's a basketball player. Already back then, people were looking to just say, you know what? I had the baby. I fed it here and there. Changed the diapers. You're walking. All right, now go figure it out. So now go watch this basketball player and emulate everything they do. They're your role model. That's bullshit. That's a cop-out. You shouldn't have had a kid then, if that's the case.
It's you can't have so I don't care athletes at all. It came from a movie and it resonated and it always stayed in my head. Plus my parents kind of said this shit. Was you never it was in Bronx Tales when they talked about Mickey Mantle and they were talking about money and he said, do you think Mickey Mantle gives a shit about you, dude, if you lost your apartment? Like, he's not gonna pay your bills.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, why would I'll model my father before I model Mickey Mantle because my father actually went to work and paid the bills. To me, that's heroes. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I think